The news hit Canada like a thunderclap. Ottawa cancels the Keystone XL2 pipeline. The announcement, delivered by Mark Carney, now a senior cabinet minister, sent shockwaves across the country. Carney spoke of climate commitments and a new energy future, but in Alberta, his words felt like a declaration of economic war. The decision wasn't just a policy shift, it was a political earthquake, threatening to tear the country apart. In Calgary, the heart of Canada's oil industry, disbelief and anger filled the air. Workers who had pinned their hopes on the project stared at their phones, stunned. Meanwhile, in Ottawa and Toronto, environmental activists celebrated, hailing the move as a victory for the planet. The pipeline's cancellation exposed deep, simmering tensions that have long divided the Canadian Federation. For Alberta, the pipeline was hope and prosperity, a lifeline for an industry that powered the nation for decades. For the federal government, canceling it was a moral imperative to fight climate change. The pipeline became a symbol, and its cancellation ignited a firestorm threatening Canada's unity. Talk radio in Alberta buzzed with calls for separation, while Ottawa politicians dug in, defending their decision. The division is no longer just rhetoric, it's a lived reality, straining families and friendships. The nation feels pulled in two directions, its fabric fraying. As the winter holidays approach, Canada stands on a precipice, staring into an uncertain future. The question is no longer if the country will fracture, but how. The stakes are existential, and the countdown has begun. The nation holds its breath, waiting for what comes next. The pipeline decision has split the country, creating a stark divide. In Alberta and Saskatchewan, there's a sense of betrayal. Decades of oil wealth and equalization payments repaid with economic hostility. It feels personal, like an attack on their way of life. In central and eastern Canada, especially urban Ontario and Quebec, the cancellation is seen as progress, a step toward climate goals and a green economy. The oil sands are viewed as a national shame, not a source of pride. Media echo chambers amplify the divide. Western outlets focus on job losses and autonomy, while central media highlight environmental gains. Two realities now exist, each reinforcing its own worldview. The national conversation is broken down, replaced by dueling monologues. The emotional toll is immense, pitting region against region and neighbor against neighbor. What began as an energy debate is now a culture war. The pipeline is the fault line, exposing two irreconcilable visions of what it means to be Canadian. The country's identity is fracturing before our eyes. In Alberta, the pipeline's cancellation triggered outrage and a sense of betrayal. For years, Albertans were told their resources powered Canada, only to be abandoned when it mattered most. Protests erupted, convoys, rallies, and upside-down flags became symbols of defiance. Calls for autonomy and even separation moved from the fringe to the mainstream. The anger is rooted in a long history of Western alienation, fueled by memories of federal policies that favored central Canada. Premier Danielle Smith channeled this fury, accusing Ottawa of trying to phase out Alberta's economy. Her rhetoric is defiant, promising to fight back with every tool available. This isn't just politics, it's a fight for survival. Alberta is mobilizing, convinced its future in Canada is at stake. The province is no longer asking for fairness, it's demanding it. Ottawa frames the pipeline cancellation as a bold step toward climate leadership. Mark Carney and the Prime Minister argue it's about fulfilling Canada's Paris Agreement obligations and building a clean energy future. Environmental groups and urban voters celebrate, seeing it as a moral imperative. Critics, however, accuse the government of political opportunism, winning points in Ontario and Quebec while sacrificing Alberta. The timing and high-profile announcement are seen as calculated moves to boost green credentials. Ottawa promises investment in renewables and retraining, but for Albertans facing job losses, these promises feel hollow. The government's vision of a just transition seems distant compared to the immediate economic pain. Whether principled or cynical, Ottawa's decision has set the stage for a constitutional and economic showdown. The stakes are national, but the pain is deeply regional. The battle lines are drawn and compromise seems elusive. At the heart of the crisis is a constitutional clash over who controls Canada's resources. Under the Constitution, Ottawa has authority over interprovincial pipelines, citing national interest. Alberta argues this power is outdated, written before resource development became its economic lifeblood. The province insists natural resources are under its control, and Ottawa is overreaching. This legal tug-of-war has created a political tinderbox. Alberta demands respect for cooperative federalism and regional well-being. Ottawa claims its authority is clear, prioritizing climate action and international commitments. The disagreement isn't just legal, it's about who defines Canada's future. The constitutional bargain of 1867 is being tested as never before. The outcome will shape the nation for generations. The pipeline's cancellation has immediate, devastating economic consequences. Tens of thousands of jobs vanish, hitting families and communities hard. The ripple effect cripples local businesses and sends a chilling message to investors. Billions in lost capital and a damaged reputation make Canada look unstable. Alberta's oil wealth funds social programs nationwide. Its decline means less for everyone. Suppliers in Ontario and Quebec also feel the pain, lost contracts and layoffs. Without new pipelines, Canadian oil is landlocked and sold at a discount, costing billions annually. Ottawa's talk of a green transition rings hollow to those facing unemployment. The economic fallout could trigger a national recession. One decision has put the entire country's prosperity at risk. Premier Danielle Smith has issued an ultimatum: reverse the pipeline cancellation or face the consequences. Her weapon is the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act, allowing the province to defy federal laws it deems harmful. If Ottawa doesn't comply within 90 days, Smith vows to invoke the act, targeting the pipeline decision. This threat plunges Canada into uncharted territory, a direct constitutional clash. Legal experts predict the act would be struck down, but a court battle could paralyze the country for years. Smith is betting Ottawa will blink to avoid chaos and embolden separatist movements. Supporters see her as a champion, critics call her reckless. The ultimatum sets a firm deadline for confrontation. The stakes: the rule of law, national unity, and the future of the Federation. Canada is bracing for a showdown that could redefine the nation. Alberta's frustration grows as it watches the U.S. expand its energy sector while Canada constrains its own. American policies fast-track pipelines and LNG terminals, capturing global markets and profits. Meanwhile, Canadian oil is blocked from overseas, sold at a discount to U.S. refineries. The irony is bitter: Canada's policy paralysis subsidizes its biggest competitor. Many Albertans see Ottawa's climate stance as naive, sacrificing prosperity for international accolades. The U.S. boom deepens Alberta's sense of injustice and fuels calls for autonomy. Critics argue that shutting down Canadian pipelines doesn't cut global demand, it just shifts production to countries with lower standards. The result: lost jobs, lost revenue, and no real climate benefit. The contrast with the U.S. makes Ottawa's policy seem both economically and environmentally illogical. The West's anger is sharpened by every mile of American pipeline built. With Smith's 90-day ultimatum ticking down, Canada is gripped by anxiety. Each day without compromise brings a constitutional crisis closer. Ottawa faces a dilemma: yield to Alberta and risk losing authority, or stand firm and risk chaos. The business community is paralyzed, investment frozen, and the dollar volatile. Other provinces watch nervously, wondering which side to support. Quebec, with its own sovereignty debates, is especially attentive. The crisis forces every region to reconsider its place in the Federation. Rhetoric hardens, preparations for confrontation intensify. The machinery of government is at risk of grinding to a halt. This is more than politics, it's an existential test for Canada. The final days will decide not just a pipeline's fate, but the country's future. Canada holds its breath, waiting to see if it will remain whole.